Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am the Black Carnivore. So today I wanted to talk about a question that I get a lot, and I just wanted to let you know I had a lot of points that I really wanted to cover, so I made quite a few notes. So if you see me glancing off, that's what I'm doing. I get a lot of questions from followers on Instagram who are just getting started and really want to make this work, and I love to answer those questions because I really want to see people succeed in this way of eating. But I get some questions that I think are so universal and so helpful to so many people that I want to find a way to share them with more people. And in fact, last week I put out a video called why I'm not losing weight on the carnivore diet. And it was actually a 30-minute discussion with a woman who is following the diet. And it was such a great conversation that I put it up on YouTube, and I think it would be a great thing for you to visit. So the link is up here and down in the description. So I get a question from one of my followers at Muslim Dominant on Instagram, and let's just dive right into his question. After reaching your goals on a carnivore diet, did you ever have a day where you just stuffed yourself with any and everything you wanted to eat? In my mind, I want to reach my health and weight loss goals, then have a cheat day once every month or two. So the short answer to this question is it depends. And the long answer, of course, is going to be this whole video. So first of all, I want to say I'm really glad that at Muslim Dominant asked this question, and I think it is really relevant and important for all of us. If for no other reason that we live in a carb-filled world, and this question is going to come up to us again and again, as we are constantly bombarded with all kinds of carby, junk-laden foods that most people think are completely normal to eat. So you're going to have to face this question for yourself, and you may as well start doing it now and figuring it out now. I think it's important to set some context for this discussion. The label carnivore is completely self-appointed. So there's no governing body that is going to kick you out or say, no, you're not a carnivore. You eat that, you're not a carnivore. However, I will say that if you're going to get out there on social media and say that, pasta is an important part of a well-balanced carnivore diet, expect some pushback. My goal here isn't to create some kind of carnivore theocracy. I want to make it clear that, I have one goal for myself, and that is to effortlessly stay slim, achieve optimal health, and enjoy and be satisfied by my food. So those are the three things that I want to all come together. And I have been on that path my whole life, looking for that path. And I think that I have come most close to that on following a carnivore diet. So let me repeat that. My goal is to be effortlessly slim, optimally healthy, and satisfied by my food. Now, you don't always hear people saying that, but I think that that's what we're all looking for. We want to finally get to the point where we can stop thinking about food and do all the other stuff. With this one goal in mind, I ask you these questions, and I think that these are questions you should always kind of keep in your mind and keep mulling over as you follow this journey. So question one is, of course, why are you doing this? What are you hoping to achieve? Question two is, what are the benefits or improvements that you are seeing from eating this way? And finally, the third question is, what can you eat and maintain those improvements or those benefits? So that's it, and that third question actually is, of course, the most complex one and the one that takes the longest to figure out. But it is clear from that third question that what you are going to be doing is a lot of experimentation. And I want to let you know here, it's an exciting new development for me. I just became a MeatRx coach, and I'm really excited to be able to provide one-on-one coaching for those of you who are just getting started on your journey, or, you're further along in your journey and you still would like some help and someone to talk to. So if you don't know, MeatRx is a subscription platform that was started by Dr. Sean Baker. And, essentially it's a place for carnivores to gather, to socialize, to learn, and to get guidance from people who are further along on this journey, eating a carnivore for carnivore diet. So it is, just a great place to be and to hang out, but also, to take advantage of the coaches that are there, like me, who are talking to you about your journey and about all the things that they see along the way and giving, helpful tips and tricks. So anyway, I will put the link down below, but I encourage you to, as soon as you finish watching this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then head over to MeetRx and schedule an appointment with me. Now on to the question, can you cheat on a carnivore diet and still maintain your health goals? I think that's the question, the ultimate question that @MuslimDominant was asking, and I think, that's the question that we all want to know. And let me also define what a cheat means. So in my opinion, a cheat can be anything from pizza to a donut to cherries to barley soup. Anything that tastes sweet or, sort of turns into sweet in my mouth and in the process of digestion, for me and for my body, it reacts to it the same way. So I'm going to have as difficult a time stopping myself from eating the whole 2-pound bag of cherries as I am from stopping eating the whole 2-pound bag of M&Ms. Not everybody is that same way, but for me, for sure, same thing. If you're like me, any sweet taste is going to trigger a binge. And, and it doesn't even have to be a lot. Like if I just have a taste that it triggers my brain to, be thinking about and desiring more. And I'll notice an increase in cravings for days afterwards. I don't really know why that is. I mean, I think that there's a lot of discussion and I like to use an addiction model to look at sugar and how my body and how I react to it. And I think that's a really helpful way of looking at it. Although I will say that's a controversial way of looking at it. There are definitely people who don't believe that sugar is addictive or can function as in an addictive way, similar to, how cocaine or nicotine or alcohol might behave. I feel like it's helpful to look at it that way, and it's sort of helped me to understand why I have certain responses. And it's also helped me to understand that an abstinence only solution, that's the only way for me to break that roller coaster of carb addiction. And if you are interested in looking at sugar through that lens of addiction, I would recommend checking out Dr. Robert Cywes. He is named the Carb Addiction Doc and has a lot of videos up on Instagram and YouTube and everything. So I would definitely check that out. There's he has a lot more information, and there are people out there that are talking about sugar in this way. If you have ever been addicted to anything, you know how easy a relapse is, and it only takes one bite. It doesn't take a lot to start the whole process going. And so if that person is you, if that's how you respond with sweets, then an occasional cheat is not going to work for you. It's just going to, have you constantly battling cravings and desires that are, just generated purely out of the addictive mind. It's not even like, a physical thing or anything like that. And it's torturous. Why do that? So that's one answer to the question. No, you can't cheat. The other answer is, I understand that I have a certain approach to sugar, and not everybody is like that. There are people out there that have a pint of ice cream in the freezer and it goes bad before they finish it. I don't understand these people, but they do exist. They have a dish of candy that they just keep for, guests, and they don't ever eat it. They have chocolate around the house. I don't know. I don't understand these people. But in any event, they do exist. And if you are one of those people, then, you probably can, have treats or dalliances from the carnivore diet without too much trouble from time to time. I mean, this is not we're talking about every month or two, which is the original question that was posed to me. So, that can be okay. But, that's not to say that the carbs are not causing damage. So in the way I've answered this is really about cravings and the livability of being on a carnivore diet where you have occasional cheats. But remember that, damage is still happening regardless of whether we're paying attention to it. So, if you're 18, you haven't done too much damage and you're insulin sensitive, a slice of pizza every other month is probably not that big a deal. It's a small amount of damage and your body can probably repair it. If you have been walking around pre-diabetic or, just diabetic for 10 years, you've lost the weight, you've turned your numbers around, having a slice of pizza every other month is probably not great, because remember, all of this is cumulative damage. And so if you are doing that every once in a while, you are still, the amount of damage that your body has to repair from that 10 years or more of being diabetic or pre-diabetic is a lot. And so, if you have that pizza, you're kind of pushing yourself back. You're moving further away from your goals. So it might not be a great idea, even if the cravings are not overwhelming for you. So I would say if you're still struggling with cravings, I would really take a close look at what you're eating. Are you eating like condiments and sauces and things that are prepared by, like in the supermarket or prepared by somebody else? Those things likely have some ingredients that are going to be tough for you, and they usually have a little bit of sugar. Are you having a little bit of something, maybe a little more frequently than you think you are? That's definitely something to check out. Even the most minor amounts of sweet taste can trigger a craving. And I've discovered for myself that, I love going to the barbecue joint. I love getting a smoked pork belly. And I don't have the barbecue sauce, yet still I get these cravings after eating it, and I can taste it tastes sweet to me. And it wasn't until, I talked to some folks at MeatRx about it that I learned that the things that are smoked usually have some kind of sugar in the marinade or some kind of sugary rub. And that's not just because, Americans are obsessed with sugar, but because sugar is actually part of the smoking process and you need it. So even though most of it is gone, by the end of the cooking, some of it is still there. And there's enough there that it doesn't knock me out of ketosis, but it still drives up that craving. And for weeks afterwards, I'm thinking about the pork belly and wanting to get it again. I need to stay away from sweet tasting things, even when those things don't knock me out of ketosis. I think that it certainly is possible to live with those cravings and to be successful in your weight loss journey on with those cravings. So, when I was keto, I sort of ended up being like if it fits your macros kind of person, So I had chocolate, dark chocolate, wine and things like that. And but I also had constant cravings, and it was really hard, and I just couldn't understand why. But now in retrospect, I get it. But going back to what my ultimate goal is, which is to be effortlessly slim, optimally healthy, and satisfied with my food, I realized that, I could get to the slim part, but it certainly was not effortless. And I was happy with my food, but there were a lot of cravings, and that was a struggle. So that was not pleasant. So if you want to get off the cravings roller coaster, for me, I found the best way is abstinence, and just to be able to go a longish period of time without any sweet tastes was what I needed to kind of calm everything down. And so you might think about that. I hope that this video has helped you to kind of figure out what you want to do about cheats or falling off or planned breaks from the program, cheat meals, all of those sorts of things. You got to think about it and think about whether it's going to bring you to your ultimate goal. I really, having a lot of cravings is something I really, really don't want. So finding a way for me to eat that doesn't increase cravings is very important to me. Maybe that doesn't matter so much to you, but you want to think about that and just ask yourself these questions. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful to you, I ask you to click the like button, smash that subscribe button, and head right over to MeetRx to check me out and, maybe sign up for a one-on-one session. Look forward to it. And thanks for making me a part of your journey to optimal health.